Welcome back to the Numismatic Now channel. Today we're looking at two coins that almost everyone has handled, spent, and forgotten without a second thought: the 1972 quarter dollar and the 1981 quarter dollar. At first glance, they look completely ordinary. They feel light in the hand, familiar in design, and easy to ignore. But what most people don't realize is that some of these quarters can be worth far more than face value. And in certain cases, collectors are willing to pay serious money for the right examples. Quarters are one of the most heavily circulated coins in the United States, which makes high-quality survivors especially interesting. Because they're used so often, most examples from the 1970s and early 1980s show wear, nicks, and surface damage. That's exactly why condition plays such a huge role in value. When a 1972 quarter or a 1981 quarter survives with strong detail, clean fields, and sharp edges, collectors immediately take notice. Let's start with the 1972 quarter dollar. This coin comes from a time when coins were still struck with robust detail, but circulation was heavy and unforgiving. Most examples you'll see today have softened lettering and flattened areas on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Finding one that still shows crisp detail is far less common than many people expect. When collectors see sharp features, even wear, and original surfaces, it signals that the coin may be worth closer examination. What really adds excitement to the 1972 quarter is the potential for striking anomalies. Errors are what turn everyday coins into something special. Small shifts during the minting process can create doubled design elements, off-center strikes, or unusual surface characteristics. These features aren't always obvious at first glance. They require careful inspection and often magnification, but once spotted, they can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. Now let's move forward to the 1981 quarter dollar. This year is especially interesting because many coins from this period were produced during changing minting practices. As a result, quality can vary significantly. Some quarters were struck strongly, while others show weak detail or surface issues. Because of this inconsistency, collectors pay close attention to well-struck examples that stand out from the typical worn pieces. The 1981 quarter also benefits from strong collector interest in high-grade modern coins. While millions were made, very few survived without heavy circulation wear. Coins that retain original luster, clean surfaces, and sharp design elements are far scarcer than most people realize. When demand increases and supply remains limited, values can climb quickly. Another important factor with both the 1972 and 1981 quarters is originality. Coins that have never been cleaned or altered are always preferred. Natural surfaces, even with light toning, are far more desirable than bright, polished coins. Cleaning may make a coin look shiny, but it often destroys collector value. Serious collectors can spot clean coins immediately, and they tend to avoid them. One of the most exciting aspects of searching for quarters like these is that they're still being found in everyday places. People discover them in bank rolls, inherited collections, old jars, and even loose change from stores. Every overlooked coin represents another opportunity for someone who knows what to look for. That's why learning the basics of coin evaluation can be so rewarding. When you examine a quarter, take your time. Look closely at the lettering, the date, and the overall strike. Pay attention to anything that looks unusual or different from other examples. Compare coins side by side if you can. Even subtle differences can make a big impact when it comes to value. These quarters may not look like treasure at first glance, but they represent a fascinating part of modern American coinage. They remind us that value isn't always obvious, and that knowledge can turn ordinary pocket change into something special. Before you spend your next quarter, take a moment to look at the date. That small habit could lead to a surprising discovery. If you enjoy learning how everyday coins can carry hidden value, keep checking your change and staying curious. The next 1972 or 1981 quarter you find might just be the one that changes how you look at pocket change forever.